Okay, let's see if that's working. We had a little microphone issue. Let's see.
Don't see anything.
And I think we're on here. Okay, so we've got the volume's okay. Let's make sure we do a volume check. I think we got the volume's okay. Looks like the microphone's on. Okay, so this is just a public site sharing flight information, and I'm going to isolate this. These are just military aircraft, and this is where we want to see how the US is reacting. So the first thing that pops up here is this little bad boy. It's a B-52. It's not completely unnatural for that to be in the air, but it is a strategic nuclear bomber as part of the triad, the United States military's triad on its nuclear deterrence. Here is, that is a doomsday plane. That is an analog 747 that operates without digital equipment, which in the event of a nuclear strike, there's no way for the nuclear pulse or the electrical pulse from the weapon to actually knock out the plane's avionics. So that's interesting and not entirely unusual, but just kind of interesting. And we got another one here. That's a B-52. There's another B-52. So that's, by my count, three. We have three B-52s in the air. What we're looking for, which would be a little bit of a interesting sign for me. So we're looking for posture. So military is all set and based on capability. So if we were the United States perceiving this as a threat, that Iran was doing something that is a threat to world stability, the United States is going to take a posture to react, right? A defensive posture. We have a strictly defensive nuclear stance. So we're not going to do anything to instigate any conflict. But if anyone were to attack the United States or Israel, because the nuclear umbrella of the United States extends over Israel, we will protect Israel if Iran or someone tries to use Iran's word, wipe it off the face of the earth. That's just we're not going to let that happen. Okay. So just kind of zooming in here. A lot of these are just going to be refuelers. Well, that's a reconnaissance aircraft. That's part of our deterrence. That's going to be part of it as well. This is KC-135s, the K-35Rs. Those are refuelers. That's just how the planes get gas in the air. This guy, I believe we've marked already. Yeah, he's up. Just so I don't confuse everyone, we're going to isolate these guys as well. Some B-52s. Oops. Close those windows. The B-52. Isolate these. A lot in the air, which is a little bit more active, I think, than we would normally see. I'm not seeing anything particularly alarming. Cautious, it seems prudent. These P8s, this is a sub hunter. So we don't know if this is an exercise. All of these planes with their transponders on and sending a signal want to be seen. So if for whatever reason the United States didn't want us to know that these B-52s were in the air, they would simply turn off their transponders. So this is a signal. This is not like secret information or anything. This is posturing. Very, very similar, very common in the Cold War back in the 50s and all the way up to 1989 when the wall fell. Or it could be that there's a submarine out there, or it thinks there might be, and it's looking for it and isolating it. I don't have a ton of experience with the Navy. Maybe I might be exaggerating our capabilities, though I've been led to believe, and then I allege that we're able to find all the Russian submarines. That might be a little bit of a optimistic statement. But that was kind of the information that I had. We're not going to really, as a country, disclose because we don't want the Russians to change their profile of their submarines. But I do believe if they had a submarine nearby, we would catch it. P3 is another sub hunter, another sub hunter. These are carrier launched, usually carrier based. I believe we have a submarine base up here. It's always a question, why are the sub hunters flying over land? That could just be training. KC-135, that's another sub hunter. And nothing going on the California coast that I can see. Okay, obviously, I do not know if this is all training exercises or what. But certainly, if there was a huge problem or the United States thought she was under attack or potentially being attacked or needed to defend an ally, we would probably have a lot more assets moving around than we're seeing now. This is Israel. Let's zoom in on Israel. And then understandably, there's probably aircraft in the air. They're just not putting their transponders on. So that makes sense. This is a flying radar. Tells us the military as well. That's Luxembourg. This is 72. And everything else seems to be pretty calm here. So switching back out of that, I don't see anything terribly alarming. This is not entirely unusual. It's not scary. It's just general run-of-the-mill. The United States letting everyone know, if they didn't know it already, we're perfectly capable of defending ourselves or our allies. Just kind of like watching Bloomberg. The White House is conducting a briefing, at the moment, talking about what their state of affairs are. The current White House is going to be had an interesting conversation with a client. This is a quote unquote lame duck, between when President Biden is no longer president and the new president is elected, that this might be a time where countries could take advantage of the situation and before the election try to do some nefarious things and perhaps get some geopolitical edge using geopolitical violence or military to further their goals. This is a little bit more about Iran's attack in Lebanon and Beirut and some of the the leadership that was assassinated by Israel. Apparently, in Iran, as a result of that, to take it at its word, is retaliating. Okay, so let's pop over the markets here, and I'm going to stop that share. Let's go to the markets. we're trying to get an email out as well to everyone, just to, have a resource if anyone is concerned or has any questions. That's obviously what we're here for. Let's see if we can find, if I can share my market screen with you all. Let's go window. That's better. Yeah, Thompson. Okay, and share. And again, this is not a recommendation of investments, and this is not, this is a general theme. We're just talking about how the geopolitical situation can affect certain asset classes. My clients, please reach out to me if you have any questions. If you are not a client and you'd like to reach out, that's fine too. Info at thrivingam.com. So info at thrivingam.com. And let's see if I can share this screen. It should pop through. It's showing me it's good. There it goes. Sorry for the delay there. So we have some markets. Let's take a peek. And I'll give it a minute to kind of catch up and cycle through. You should watch that over here as well. Looks like it's coming. All right. So this is Tesla, which has had a good run. If you've caught our earlier videos, we've recommended Tesla. Way back at the 171 level, I think it was, after Wells Fargo had downgraded the stock. That's going to prevent their advisors from actually investing in it. It seemed like a buying opportunity for me, and that was a great way to take advantage of a large bank kind of unable to turn quickly in a corner. And by the time sort of, the message came out, in my view, in my opinion, to downgrade the stock had already changed. They'd already started making some changes. Now it's going to be really hard for them to reverse themselves. I don't know if they have. So if anyone knows any new information about that, please let me know. But after Wells Fargo downgraded the stock, we bought it for accounts, and it's done quite well. Full disclosure, I own the stock in my own account. And I do have a positive outlook for the stock in general. So it has been on a run. And why is that significant? Well, it's been arguably, kind of quote unquote, a hot stock. So if we zoom in here and we go to charts, what we can see is monthly chart, daily chart, and then let's go to 6 months. This is significant because it's rallying, and if it were overdone, it has the greatest probability of being overdone, too hot, right? People sort of jump on the bandwagon. Now, when we have a negative event like the bombing of Tel Aviv, which is significant, essentially, it is as close to being a state of the United States as it could possibly be, that being Israel, because we've extended a nuclear umbrella over it. It's almost as close to being U.S. territory as you can. Because of its history, obviously, we're not going to let Israel get pushed into the sea. We'll defend Israel and provide for her kind of a safe place to exist. If Israel is being attacked, wow, that could really bring the United States into a conflict. As we saw, doesn't seem to be the case. It doesn't seem like the military intelligence or the United States has any indication that it needs to be overly prepared. It's not. I don't think the United States considers Iran a great threat. Though, even with bad news, we're going to take a look and see what the reaction is. And if you can see this bar, high, low, the current price of Tesla, does not look really significant. I mean, there's a bit of a down. It went down to $250 a share, and now it's back up to around $260. That's not a huge move. I mean, this move here, this open and drop, this little dot is where it closed. And this is a bigger down day in the beginning of September than this event here. So this is telling me that not that the markets already know this, though the markets have already factored in a kind of a scary geopolitical environment. This is just one of the many possibilities, right, that could have happened. And as we went live here, Israel was giving some all clear signals where people could kind of come out of their safe bunkers. And there wasn't any indication that there was going to be further attack on Israel. Now, if this is it, a few hundred, I'm not belittling, and God, I hope nobody was hurt, and it's just a tragedy all around. But if this is it, if this was sort of the conflict, geopolitically speaking, this is not a big deal. Now, this is not our personal view. Obviously, we all want this Middle East to sort of sit down and cooler heads prevail, and everybody sit at a table and should be able to come through with ways to live with each other. From us here in the United States, as we look to protect the assets that we've accumulated and place them in places that are going to be diversified and have, whether you're someone who would never invest in the stock market unless you had an annuity, or someone who would never invest in an annuity because you never need that much insurance, we were faced with finite choices with US dollars within the United States. So we want to know, okay, well, how is this going to impact us? How is this going to impact your investments? And this is telling us that it's not much of an impact. There was a concern, the market went lower, and now it's within the trading range of where it was yesterday. So let's go back out to a wider market. And let's look at the S&P 500. And we'll look at charts. And just looking at the S&P 500, a down draft, completely within the trading range. If we look at these, we have a trend line, and we're going to have to wrap it up here. The next meeting is coming in. So this uptrend is maintaining itself. This decline today is not even alternating, not even coming close to creating any sort of difficulty in the slope of this upward line. So this is not altering the trend in any way. So we're feeling that even though our hearts are going out to the folks in the Middle East in the situation, we're not seeing any huge ramifications for us here. We'll have to save the bond market for another time. We'll take a look at that. We should see, we would also expect to see bonds declining in value, especially U.S. Treasuries, if there was a real threat. So again, we're not seeing anything significant. Please, if you'd like to reevaluate your current portfolio or allocation, that's a great time to do it. Great little reminder. If it's something that seems a little scary, there's definitely some strategies we can put into place that would make you feel much more comfortable about assuring your assets. And for those that are a little bit more on the aggressive side, this does represent an opportunity where the surprise is to the upside. So we've got some surprise of negative, quote unquote, news hitting the market. The market's holding up. We've got about $18 trillion in checking and savings accounts on the sidelines, where people are just sitting on their hands waiting to decide what they want to do with it. And the market's holding up pretty firmly here. So on that, we'll go ahead and just wrap it. I want to thank everyone for your time. And if you have any questions now or in the future, go ahead and leave a comment or email info@thrivingam.com. THRIVINGAM.com. All right. Thanks so much, and have a great day.